You may disagree, but you're wrong. Yep, and I can prove it on, we have video something. Well, of course we do. Yep, I'm going to go on speaker, okay? Okay, perfect. I won't be able to do it right now. Okay, you're welcome.
Rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yenser.
Present.
Richard Belts.
Here.
Rita Spinelli. Here. Trisha Denicola. Here. Tina Champ. Here. John Cooper is absent.
We're going to start with our audit RFP presentations. We issued a request for proposal for audit services. We received 2 responses for audit and forensic audit, and we received 1 response for the forensic audit only. The individual who responded to the forensic audit only wanted us to pay him for his presentation. We do not typically do that in school districts. I encouraged him to attend, but that we would not pay him. He chose not to attend. So we'll start. The first company we received from was Byron Company. They have a presentation for us.
Hi. Hi. Thank you for having us this evening.
Thank you. Is Andy there for a second?
That's a board member on the phone.
Right.
Yes, Andy's here.
Okay, great. So, Andy, under what moral justification are we allowing the administration to be involved in this forensic audit process?
It's the process that was chosen, Dave.
Yeah, what moral authority or what moral justification are you allowing the administration to be all involved in this process? It's our responsibility, it's not theirs. I think the whole thing is corrupt and wasteful because you're allowing the administration, the one that we are actually auditing, to be involved in the process of finding, scope, and hiring
I am simply bringing to the board the presentations. It is the board of 9 that will make the decision, not the administration.
But Patty, in all due respect, the administration is not you specifically, nor is it Mr. Cleaver or anyone else. The administration is a hired entity of the district government. So the administration, which you are now a part of, but we're not part of the period, are most definitely being audited because it was your understanding of the process that showed that these $3.8 million was missing. And we have found that that information you provided us was inaccurate. And now we also have funds not being given to CCCI. We have contracts that are being signed by individual administrators. There's more than forensic audit than just what happened with Brian Pike and the failure of Andy Yenser to oversee it as our treasurer.
And would you like to know what we...
As a community, should recognize that the moral justification of a forensic audit should be managed by the government, the elected officials that are being held accountable by the stakeholders that we are testing. So not only are we testing the administration that this government hired, but you're also recognizing that the government recognized in a unanimous vote that, or nearly unanimous vote, that to be transparent to the stakeholders is important. So for you or anyone else to be involved in it is ridiculous. It's not common sense. It lacks the moral fiber, and we do not have a moral justification to allow you or anyone in this administration to be involved in a selection, scope, and hiring of a private owner. That's my opinion.
Dave,
Thank you.
Dave, we do have the group here who's ready to present, so I believe you've made your point, and at this,
What is simple, Andrew? Andrew, my question is, what moral justification do you have advocating this authority to the very administration that we are looking for a forensic audit?
your point's taken, Dave. Again, there's no, again, moral justification not to have our business manager set this up, listen to a presentation. We're not being audited tonight. We're listening to a presentation is what we're doing. So with that, I'd like to have you present to us.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Andrew, the process has been taken already by not only the advertisement, but the selection of who's making these presentations. This process is flawed, just as it was flawed in our inability to manage the oversight of this administration. Look out! You're neglecting that job if you're going down this process. How do you not recognize that? What is your moral justification for continuing this farce?
From a finance committee perspective, obviously I'd like to hear the presentation that we're here to hear. Rita, as a committee member, your thoughts?
My thoughts are we move on and Mr. Bradley can listen, but mute the phone till he's done. It's not a question and answer period. It's
Mr.
a
Jones?
presentation period.
That's fine.
Okay. Okay, at this point, we'd love to hear your presentation.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Pam Baker, and I'm the managing partner with Barbecue Courtney Company. Steve Kutzaflakis is an audit partner with the firm. Hopefully you had an opportunity to receive and review the proposal that we submitted to you in response to your request for an annual financial and compliance audit in accordance with the regulations of the state of Pennsylvania and the federal government, as well as with some additional procedures that we can discuss as we go through the presentation. But we're going to start our presentation with a focus on your annual audit. And so I'm going to turn it over to Steve. He's got a couple of slides to show you, just to sort of highlight what we think are the 10 reasons to add us to your team. Not going to be.
Personalized experience. We're a current client base, inclusive of 100 government organizations. You know that 100, more than 45 are local education agencies, charter schools, school districts. In addition, our partners have over 100 plus
opposed to some traditional firms that have audit and have tax. We're totally an audit-based practice. And our client niche is specifically governments, including school districts and nonprofits, okay? And so we're trying, hopefully, the slides that we have here will give you just a snapshot of what you received in your RFPs, just to kind of highlight some of those things.
Leadership, our partners, we all frequently serve as speakers at PASBO and related organizations. We serve on the PICPA, local government committee, and the legislative committee. That's the way Institute of Certified Public Accountants. This past year we spoke in Hershey on various on the single audit process. Staff training. We regularly develop in-house training on topics related to public schools. Which we feel this enhances our depth of experience to the entire audit team. So our staff are well trained. Never be left, you never have a young person left alone. They're always with somebody who has several years of experience and a partner will make frequent trips up to see how the audit is going.
One of the reasons that we highlighted this for Lee Heighton especially is that we understand that you have some issues potentially, that you've got some new administration, and that this audit is going to be perhaps a little bit more challenging. Not that every audit we ever do we take with the same level of responsibility, but I do think it's really important for us to be able to highlight for you that once again, because we're an audit-only firm, and all of our staff, from the newest person all the way up to the senior partner, is going to be working, especially this time of year, all our entire staff right now are working on school audits. So we are all over Delaware County, Chester County, Lancaster County. We are literally across the eastern part of Pennsylvania now, going from district to district to district. And so all of our staff have significant training, even those that are the newest members of our team. They get a lot of training on schools specifically.
Comes commitment, we are participants at local, state, and national government conferences, which helps us stay abreast of the current issues that are affecting government organizations. We've grown steadily in this area, adding government clients yearly. One thing I also wanted to mention is that when it comes to commitment, we also committed to teaching our clients about these standards. Every year, for our solution clients, we hold an annual seminar in a centralized location that's free of charge to our current clients. And the past year, we talked about the new products coming up, like the lease standards change. In the past, we talked about the pension and OPEB standards. So we also make that commitment to keep our clients well educated. Reputation, so we're well known and respected within Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, New Jersey, for our ability to stay abreast of current issues and relevant implementations of new standards.
So we did give you some references for you to check, and hopefully we would encourage you to check those references. And I think they can speak to you, hopefully, about what it's like for those that haven't been with us as long, and perhaps for those districts that have been with us for a long period of time. But if you want to go beyond that, because you would think, just like an employee, everybody puts their best references out, right? So we gave you, in addition to those specific people to reach out to, we did provide you with a list of all of our clients. So, we welcome you to reach out to any of our clients. We know that with school business, many times it's relationships that you may have, maybe school board members on another school board, that we do their audit, you see that they're on our list. Feel free to reach out to them. We're confident that you would get just as much feedback from any of our clients, as you would those that we specifically listed for you.
Professionalism, all our staff members are supported by the firm and successful completion of the uniform CPA exam. As of right now, all of our staff except for our newest hires have passed the exam. And even our newest hires, we do have a formal plan in place to get them to pass the exam. They submit it to us semi-annually what their progress is and what their plan is for passing the exam, and we support that 100% in terms of giving them paid study time, paid time off if they want to take additional time off to study, paying for the course materials, and so forth. In addition to that, many of our staff do have advanced certifications in addition to the CPA. So there are additional certifications, the CFE, which is the Certified Fraud Examiner, the CDF, which is the Certified Government Accounting Professional. So those are some new additional certifications.
Once again, we're so in the audit marketplace that anytime that any of our staff go for advanced education, they're going to go for certifications that enhance what we do as a firm.
Knowledge, our present client base enhances our ability to deal with public schools, dealing with gadget-related issues, that's the implementation of the new standards. Actually, there were some big ones with pension and OPEB. Federal regulations, changes to the single audit requirements, PDE requirements, assessment of risk, and effective communication of audit results. All of our clients, we push heavily to have a board meeting, a presentation of the audit to the board at the completion of the audit. We feel that's very important. It's part of our governance,
Yeah, so we really wanted to, once again, having gone through your proposal request, having asked some questions and understanding that you have, some concerns and some potential issues, we just thought that we would highlight for you. So when you think about your annual audit, right, and I know that your RFP asks for the annual audit as well as a forensic audit, okay, so when we look at that, to us, you're going to start with the annual audit, right? And so when we're looking at the annual audit, bringing our experience as school districts into play, we're going to put a lot of emphasis on the assessment of risk. We're going to talk to management, we're going to talk to the board, we're going to get an understanding of where those pain points are, where there are some potential issues. Because you also want to be cost effective, right, while getting to the right answers. And so we bring that experience, and we've done this before. We've done it in several different districts across the Commonwealth, actually, where we have been asked to come in. You start with the audit process. You look for those areas of potential risk. You interview, identify, and then we can come back to you during that process and say, this is what we can do to help to identify that. And it helps to hone in from the independent auditor's perspective where the potential is for you to need additional procedures, which is what a forensic audit is. A forensic audit is agreed upon procedures. When you engage a forensic auditor, it really does come back to you as a board to say, look at this. That's the way that process works. It's not that someone's going to come in and look at every single check you wrote and every single deposit that you made. That's not a forensic audit. But you want to be as effective and efficient as you can possibly be. And that's why in our proposal, we sort of laid out the way that we think is the best approach forward is for us to engage with a regular audit. The GASB-related issues, I'm guessing, are probably not one of your issues. But you've got to get the information correct to get your audit completed. Because I also know that you've got continuing disclosure requirements associated with your debt. Those are not deadlines that you want to miss. You've also got requirements to submit your audit to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, to the Department of Education. Those are not deadlines you want to miss unless you have very concrete reasons for extending them or missing them. But we've been through this with districts with continuing disclosure for your bonds. You don't want your bond rating at issue. And so we think that our approach is one that's going to start with the audit and work through, and as we see things or become aware of things, then sit with you to try to get both moving forward. Okay? So it's a little bit different. It's difficult to separate the two. Because if you say, no, just forget about the forensic. Come over here and do an audit. Well, now I'm an independent auditor. You just kind of gave me a heads up. I'm not going to be very willing. Steve's not going to say, yeah, we're going to issue an independent audit, right? Because we've got something hanging over here. There's got to be a convergence at some point of how we're going to move forward. And so that's kind of why, we wanted to go through that with you.
All right, Desire. Governments are very exciting to us. Truth, our ability to provide quality services. We've been in this market, this niche for over 41 years, so it's not something that we dabble in and only do a handful of governments. This is all we do. 41 years, so we do have a wealth of experience.
And I know you're struggling right now. I'm sure you are. As elected officials, it's very difficult. And when you have something that's not right, it can be very difficult. We've done that. We've been through with school boards, this very situation. Not the nature, I'm not sure, but we have been there where we've even been there when it was worse. when the federal government was in on somebody's door saying, we're getting ready to claw back money because you did things you should not have done. So we've been through it, and we still like it. And hopefully we can be a helpful solution to you as well, to get you back on the road to where you were and where you want to be.
We believe we are cost effective. Prices are competitive based on our ability to adapt what the digital client needs. I think Pam already talked a lot about this already. Our approach would be in order to be efficient and effective and cost conscious.
Yeah, so we priced your audit, when we're pricing a regular audit, right? So we're looking at that because I don't know how anyone, unless they just said, well, we're just going to start the meter running and here's our hourly rate and, we're just going to keep going and there's no continuing disclosure to worry about, there's no deadline, we're just going to keep going. We don't think that's your best solution. So we proposed what we think is a fair fee to do an annual audit, and then we'll drill down with you as we're here. One or two things are going to happen. Your independent auditor is going to be able to do an audit only so far, and then if you have someone different doing a forensic, they're going to be put on hold. You're only going to be able to go so far because you won't be able to issue it. Or you can work in conjunction. We think your best approach is to work in conjunction to get you where you need to go.
Timely, your statements will be delivered by your required deadline. This is monitored at the partner level, and then if there's, and also the managing partner. But we do, in every engagement up front, we do gain an understanding of what your timeline is for a lot of time. And there's a situation where we feel that that can't be met, we'll notify you immediately. That's,
Yeah, so, we put that in there so that you know that we understand how important it is to have timely work. You're in a little unusual situation this year. It needs to be as timely as is possible to do the right job. So, Steve's going to work very closely to get you where you need to be, but we're going to be realistic, right? As we work through that. Questions?
How did you learn about our RFP?
I actually got an email from you. Everybody enjoyed it?
I don't know.
Yes, I actually received an email from you, and you said that someone suggested that you reach out to us.
Okay, great.
That's how we got it.
I reached out to many people, and I did
Yes.
not personally know any of them, so I did not even remember your name.
I know, I looked you up on LinkedIn because I didn't know if I had met you somewhere. But we did get a solicitation directly from the board, that way you could reach out.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
I think as you said, at the conclusion of this, you do provide recommendations, also some safeguards moving forward, those types of
Absolutely.
pieces come with it.
Absolutely. We like to think that we've got so much experience with schools that we're able to, before you get in the situation you're in now, provide some insight during the audit process to find and look for and make you aware. I mean, Steve's a very good writer. but he's good, and as he said earlier, he's pretty dogged about audit results. I mean, there are times when management will try to exert influence and say, we don't need a presentation. I'll tell them it's all good. We don't start there. If we get that,
that's a red flag right there. For, every pop on the board, we think that's an issue. Because you have pretty sure responsibility to oversee audit and district finance system.
I think they meant something else.
I have a question over here, Jen.
Go ahead, Dave.
Thank you. So, as an auditor, one of the things that you'll be doing is collecting records. Were you told for what period of time this audit is going to take place?
you mean then the independent auditor walks into that engagement knowing and understanding that the school board, the elected officials, have directed management to work with us. We would not look at you're hiring us and you tell us to go in and work with administration. If the administration refused to provide records, we would come back to you and say, we have a scope limitation, we can't conduct an audit. That's just part of the audit process, but it does not require a right to know your books and records. If you hire an independent auditor, all of your books and records should be open and available. And if they're not, we actually, not only do we put that in the engagement letter that you will sign, that you're responsible to have management provide information to us, but at the conclusion of the audit, we will not issue an opinion unless management also signs a letter to us that states, we have made available to you anything and everything that you requested and anything and everything that we feel you maybe should have had. So that's the way we handle that, and that kind of helps.
Excellent. And that authority comes from the board, correct?
The authority to conduct the audit, yes.
Excellent. So we have in our district, and you got great experience with another district. Our problem is the individual board members are being denied access to these documents and records. And then we're also seeing contradictory statements being made by current administration and individuals within the administration contradict, and also the past business manager. That's one of the reasons why we're looking for a private audit. Do you have any experience where any board has blocked individual board members from seeing the records and documents resulting in your services to be required?
I'm not sure I've had a situation, I'm not sure that would involve us. That sounds like an issue between the individual board members and perhaps your solicitor, but we wouldn't be interacting at that level.
Excellent. So you're directly hired by the board who has full authority over all these records.
Correct.
Excellent. So therefore, if the board wishes to be transparent to you, it also has the opportunity to be transparent to themselves and not require a right to know request for this information. Therefore, you should be able to have authorization to collect all the data required to be able to review them so that you can do your job without neglect. Correct?
Correct.
I appreciate it greatly. Thank you for your presentation.
Wow.
Any other questions?
Do you know when we're making a decision, if I might ask? Only because it's September.
We have a board meeting on September 30th.
On September 30th? Okay. Thank you.
I'm going to give the board an update on the fees that were in these proposals as well after the next presentation.
Ready to present? Yes.
I can talk for you, so.
All right, thank you.
We'll put it up on the screen.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for giving me the time. My name is Jeff Weiss. I'm the managing partner of Zalmakowski Axelrod. I handed out a presentation. I'll go through that and then answer any questions you may have. I never know whether it's good to be first or second in these presentations, so we'll see how it goes. Untitled is a regional CPA firm. We work in Pennsylvania, Maryland, and Delaware, as well as New Jersey. We have 4 offices in Pennsylvania, 1 office in Maryland, and 1 office in Delaware. Our individuals, some of our individuals have Big 4 experience. They work for the big firms. We are a niche firm. We do 99% of our work in the public sector, government, and nonprofit, and we are 92% audit. The rest is tax related to our nonprofit clients. We received an unqualified peer review 3 years ago, 2016. Our next peer review is next month. So that was provided in the proposal copy of our peer review. As far as our clients go, as I said, we're pretty much entirely in the public sector, government nonprofit, so we do school districts and charter schools, boroughs, townships, cities, counties, some component units of Pennsylvania, PETA, Penvest, CFA, we've done in the past. We also do some Delaware state agencies, in Maryland and Delaware towns and some schools in Maryland. And also in Pennsylvania, we do the audits of some municipal authorities, some of their sewer and water authorities. Some of our clients, I've given you a list there of some of our school district clients. We do, I think about 20 school districts in the state of Pennsylvania, and a couple school districts in the state of Maryland, as well as the other clients that we do. I provided a list. We gave references as well as a list of our clients in our proposal. In this area, we do work for Lehigh County, Allentown School District, Jim Thornberry School District. I live in the next county over. One of the other individuals that's on the staff, she lives in the next county over, so we're local. We both live in Monroe. Our closest office, Harrisburg or Jameson, is kind of all right in the middle, but we do a lot of work in this area. Louisiana County area, Pike County area. I do a lot of work in Kirby County, and over in Pike County itself. So, as far as working in this area, we do a lot of work in this area, so we're very familiar with the area. We're very familiar with the requirements related to the school district for both the federal regulations and community regulations. Our audit process, we're going to bring you experienced staff. All the staff that are assigned on this job will have worked on school districts. We constantly communicate with the individuals at the school. And as you said, we're going to meet with board members. It's one of the first things we're going to have to do is meet with board members and go through your risk assessment process. Okay, we're also going to meet with members of the administration to go through that risk assessment process. But we constantly communicate during the audit. Normally what we like to do is actually have a weekly update, maybe on a Friday morning or a Monday morning with the business manager and anybody else that you set aside. You can also go with the finance committee, member of the finance committee, and update you on a weekly basis on how the audit's going. All our audits are done on a risk-based approach. So as I said, we're going to come in and assess the risk. We're going to meet with you. We're going to review your information. We're going to look at your debt issuances. We're going to look at your previous audits and see where things like that go. So first thing we're going to do is plan the audit. We're going to look for the key audit areas, and that's what we're going to hone in our audit processes and develop our audit techniques. We're going to document and understand the control environment. So we're going to understand how you pay bills, how you take in money, how you pay payroll, things like that. We're going to get a clear understanding of exactly how you do that, and we're going to test those transactions. We're going to evaluate your systems to see what financial accounting package you're going to use. We're going to test that to ensure that your controls are operating okay over the system. And then from there, we develop tailored audit programs so that we know exactly what we're going to do during the audit process. We'll then perform our testing. We'll test the systems and planning for controls and compliance, and then we'll do some standard testing. Part of your audit is the single audit. You receive federal funds, so you have to audit the compliance with your federal programs. So as part of our testing, we're going to have to test your compliance with those contracts and those grants. And then we're going to provide financial and single audit reports, and then we have a second partner. So you'll have one partner that's here, and then you'll have an independent partner who reviews the financial statements and provides kind of a top view look at it to ensure that it's correct. We will present those in draft to management and then discuss any findings or issues with them and report them. One thing to understand, if we do the financial audit and we find something as we're going, okay, and we need to raise it to a level above administration, we will do that. We'll come to the board or finance committee if you find items that are a problem. As far as YZA, as I said before, we are a niche firm. This is all we do. We do public sector audit work, governments and nonprofits. That's what we specialize in. We service a significant number of clients that are just like you. We provide value-added services by going through the audit. If we see recommendations that we can make to you to improve your processes, we're going to do that. We try to provide you staff continuity as the years go on. If for some reason we can't do that, because people do leave the CPA role, why they leave, I have no idea, but why they don't want to work for me. But we try to do that, and if it happens to occur, we'll come to you and receive any of your permission to change the staff out and let you know who's coming in. And then one of the major things is we're not just going to communicate with you during the audit. If things come up as the year goes on, we're going to provide that information to you. We send the newsletters out, we provide you with information that if standards are changing or something's changing, we're going to let you know about that ahead of time. Any other questions, comments? I'll open it up.
I have a question.
Sure.
Recently, Jim Thorpe School District had a forensic audit. I think I've heard about that. Was that your company?
It is not. We are their auditor. We did not do their forensic audit.
I see. Is that also the case with the Allentown School District? Because I had read that they also had.
They did not have a forensic audit done yet. I don't believe, unless I can ask Pam, because she was actually the prior auditor before I took over. I don't think they had it while you were there either. So, not while either one of us, they were the previous auditor downtown, so.
Perhaps it was a different group in Allentown that I read about.
Yeah, I do not believe so that I know of.
Okay.
I can ask you a question. I guess as part of it, and I think the other firm touched on it as well, you're going to be interviewing not only administration, but you're going to be questioning the board for any types of things that you would like them to specifically inquire about.
Those discussions go into where they potentially think fraud may have occurred, where they potentially believe that there may be issues at the school. Correct.
Okay, so you're opening up at the beginning of the process of the dialogue, you know.
That's correct. That's all part of the risk assessment process.
Where do you think maybe something's not right?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Correct.
I have a question for you. Are you also the regular audit and the forensic audit, or just the regular audit?
We put in for both.
Okay.
That's a determination for the board to make, so, yes.
Can I ask how you did hear about us? How did you get the RFP?
I'm going to state the same thing. One of my partners received a telephone call from Joy.
Okay.
Yep.
Any questions when you get the chance? I'll take my turn.
Then this, same question I asked previously, findings, anything else you come back with recommendations for stronger controls, quality assurance?
Correct. Anything that would be deemed a finding that we find through it under the Single Audit Act or government auditing standards, which we're required to follow, would actually be in a report. But if there's any other recommendations that we believe can help you improve your processes, that could also be in a separate letter. I apologize. I hate having my back to people.
There was someone, a fellow asked on the phone.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dave. Dave, you had a question?
I have a question when you get a chance.
You're
Go
up.
ahead.
I'm good to go? Okay. So, I appreciate the coming in and the presentation. Under Pennsylvania School Code Section 610, illegal use of school funds. In the event that you found illegal use of school funds, have you ever recommended the use of a surcharge against the board of directors that hired you to find things to recoup expenses done to the school district?
I have not had that occur at a school district, and any of the school district audit, I've had it occur, so it wouldn't be per se pursuant to the school code, but I've had it at other entities. But it becomes the opportunity, it's not our job to surcharge them or recommend that, it becomes somebody else's opportunity to do that.
But you have a moral character responsibility, not neglect that duty, even though the board is not the one that hires you, to make sure that you are clear when
find something illegal or inappropriate, we will take it to the appropriate level. So if we would find an administration, we would take it to a board, take it to the board. If it's at a board level, we could actually go above that level to law enforcement outside of the school district if necessary.
Excellent. And in your opinion, I'm not sure if you'd be considered an expert, but I'm going to say it's very serious. Is there any excuse or opportunity for a board to allow the administration to authorize contract and consumption of public funds without direct orders from the board? And isn't the board the authorizing party of all contracts?
The board approves contracts, and you do it through the budgetary process as well as other approval processes.
So in the event, I want to clear up that a contract was executed by an individual from the administration staff, not authorized by the board, what would be the historic process that would be done? It would be recommended back to the board.
If contracts are entered into that are not entered into in accordance with the school code or school policy, then it would go up to the level above where it occurred. So that would most likely be the board. Correct.
And that would also be the same process for the additional staff and/or positions within a district. They're all under the authority of the board.
Correct.
Thank you very much for your clarification. I really appreciate your briefing.
Thank you.
I apologize for not being able to make it.
Any other questions?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
The prior auditor was Bailey and Company. In 2018-19, they were been auditing 2017-18 fiscal year. The total that was paid to them was $48,625. Barbicane and Thornton has offered a proposal of a flat fee of $36,000 each year, moved out for a 3-year RFP. You could, if the board decides they'd like to cancel after, a year, after 2 years, we have the right to do that. But they have held their fee at $36,000 for 18-19, 19-20, and 20-21. Zelenkovsky Axelrod for 18-19 would be $34,500, 19-20, $35,535, 2020-21, $36,600. Both firms also quoted an hourly forensic audit fee. Zelenkovsky was $95 up to $380. $95 for a staff member, $380 for a partner. Likely in a forensic audit, the partner's going to be doing most of the work. So your fee's going to be on the upwards of the $380 side, a partner or a higher level manager versus a random staff member. Barbicane and Thornton, their fees were $80 for a staff member, $250 for a partner. Yeah, both proposals are there. They both have a significant amount of experience. And Barbicane, they do constantly present to PICPA in their education summit as in regards to all sorts of, whether it be governmental accounting standards, whether it be PDE updates, a whole host of things. So both firms seem very well versed within education and PDE.
Did anyone else provide information?
No, these were the only responses we received.
Thoughts, Rita? Rich?
We're going to recommend to the board which, recommend to the agenda next week, which firm.
I think that would be the preference, so we could kick this off and get it in motion. I think it's all of us to get it in motion and.
Because we do have reporting deadlines to get it, have our audit completed.
Has anybody checked the references yet?
I know a number of the schools that have been involved with both of them. They're both very qualified entities. I don't think
I mean, before, the finance committee recommends something, you might want to look at the references and see at least who they use as references. Would be my suggestion there.
That's a valid point. I don't know if you want to.
I'm kind of honest, but in my experience, people generally don't give a bad reference, but I could certainly call if you might find that.
I mean, Patty has, go ahead, Dave.
It's obvious from the inexperience of Rita and the sales tax treasurer Andrew Yenser that this process is exhausting and it's going to be a waste. If we, as a board, don't recognize that the administration should not have any participation in this process, we have failed to do our duty and neglected to spend the taxpayers' funds properly and selecting a forensic audit of the period ending June of 2019. Because we have contradictory information from two business managers and the failure to transfer the information. The fact that individual board members are being told to file lengthy notes, and this board failed to recognize that that is an obstruction to the transparency of the district is the reason we're here. For you guys to go down this path in this meeting is as corrupt as the lack of transparency that has occurred in the district for years. I think you should table this and so you can do it properly as ordered by the government in its board meeting when it said hire a forensic auditor to do a forensic audit. They should never have been given to the administration and they should have never been the ones that wrote the spec. We should have been the ones that wrote the advertisement as the board. They should have been the ones that said phone calls and got as many people as possible into this room right now.
It sounds like,
Clear up the problem.
hey Dave,
We have-
sounds like that happened. Joy is the one who made contact. And why is it that Joy is the one who made contact for the auditors?
She has that responsibility, and I'm glad she accepted that responsibility. And she has. And
She took-
because prior to that, more than anyone in this room. But the whole process, it just shows the entire process is corrupt. You have to start fresh, you have to do it in a moral, fiscally responsible way, and this is not it. I apologize for the failure of this path in this board to oversee this administration, but you can't repeat the same mistake, especially when you know that there are mistakes. And now that you've all been educated that this is wrong, you should do it right. I did.
Okay, so we've got two proposals in front of us. What I asked the finance committee to do is, let's do some due diligence, make any reference calls we prefer between now and Thursday. And Thursday, we come to a consensus of a recommendation to put on the board agenda.
Well, first of all, I didn't phone anyone. I did talk to that guy's partner because his partner called me, but I sent out 10 emails to, I just obtained, a list that people have been by, to do email blasts and stuff like that. And I just sent out some generic emails. And then I directed people to talk to Patty. And I think, Patty, you talked to more than just these two people. You were contacted by other people.
Yes, some chose not to submit a proposal. These were the ones that chose to submit a proposal.
Right. And so I can't really give a reference for any of these people because I don't, I purposefully chose people I've never really heard of before and knew nothing about them. My only thought is when Patty talked about these folks, it sounded as though one of the outfits sounds a little bit more cost-effective than the other ones. And I agree with Rita, if we call these references, I highly doubt that we're going to get a negative comment.
Typically, a client is, even if they were not happy with an auditor, they're not going to give a negative review.
I mean, if you were gonna ask for my counsel, I would say, like, maybe let's choose the more cost-effective one, or if we wanted to do something like what Andy's discussing, which is do a little bit of research, that research will not be calling references. I will probably do what I have not done on these two companies, which is like Google them, look for newspaper articles, right? Look for someone that they worked with who's not on their list, and you know that.
Make sure they weren't the auditor from Harrisburg or Scranton.
Right, correct. So, you know, I'm not on the finance committee, but those are the two avenues I would discuss. You know, since we only have two proposals, you know, if you go with a more cost-effective one, or if you want to do some more research, then I would recommend doing research outside of where they're pointing.
Could we put both on the agenda for next week and do our research through the week and record our findings?
Yeah, we can leave it. We can leave it. I would suggest that we maybe do it throughout the week and then put it, whoever the board determines they want to move to the meeting to put that name on the agenda.
I mean, you can always do it like rehire people pending references as well. So you can make that recommendation pending the references don't clear out, then they don't work.
Kind of time frame so to get to start.
That's what we're saying, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, the closer you are to picking one would probably be the best.
I have a question. Which one do you think is the more cost effective?
Maybe when you get a chance.
Hold on, Patty, Laura wanted to know.
From a forensic audit perspective, I think the first presenter, Barbicane, is going to be more cost effective because again, you're going to have the partner doing most of the work, and their highest partner rate is $250, whereas the other firm is $380.
Right.
And you know, in 10
That
hours, you make
$14,000 over that 3 years is going to be eaten up.
Correct.
When you get a chance, I got a statement.
Go ahead, Dave.
So, Julie, earlier, you had requested that the responses to this advertisement were sent to yourself and the board. Did anyone receive that prior to today?
No, Dave, I did ask to see these proposals last week, and I did not receive them, and I'm not pleased with that, but that is what.
It's just more evidence of the insubordination of our administration. It's a hard job, guys. It's the board.
Dave, under school code, an individual board member does not direct staff to do things.
For us to be able to delegate, abdicate a responsibility to the administration, and then to have them ignore that responsibility for the benefit of the board is a waste of time and the corruption of the system. The proper way was outlined. It was educated to the board, and if they do not wish to adopt that, that's something in a board meeting. And the failure of this board's organizational skills in managing those tasks so that you have checks and balances in the system, and you don't have an impropriety or a possibility for impropriety or corruption, is our responsibility. I don't know why it has been that way in the past, but the immorality has to be fixed. The moral way to do this is a proper outline with a process, a procedure, administered by the board. And that administration should not be anywhere near this thing. They have proven themselves to not be responsible and not to be able to be held accountable because the board has too many rubber stampers on it. Thank you.
Next.
Next item.
So are we going to move something to the board agenda, or is the committee going to?
I'd ask for, again, feedback, Rich, and yourself, or Rita.
I prefer the first presentation firm,
I do as well.
personally.
I can concur with that as well. I'd say, let's add that to the agenda. If it would not pass, again, we always have the opportunity to bring the other firm off at the meeting.
The next thing on our agenda is the banking RFP response that we received. We received a response from Mock Chunk Trust, from Pliget. TD Bank chose not to respond to the RFP. I questioned TD Bank as to why they would not be responding to the RFP, and I'll read to you their response.
This is who's responsible?
TD Banks.
Okay.
So they said it really came down to the numbers. During our last review, which was a year ago, the rate environment was on the rise. Higher earnings credits make it easier to eliminate or offset bank fees. After our meeting, we saw that balances were reduced, the cost of services such as armored services quadrupled, and now that the Fed is planning more rate cuts for 2019 and 20, the numbers did not allow us to be as aggressive as we were last year. I don't want to put a proposal on the table that may not meet your needs given the anticipated rate environment. So their proposal, whatever they had given to the district in the past, they were using earnings credit to offset all the fees the district would be charged. Under both the Pliget proposal, and I haven't gone through them in detail yet, but under both the Pliget and Mock Chunk Trust proposal, there are no bank fees. So I appreciate that TD Bank was honest, but I think it's important to note that the rates were going to do what they were going to do anyway. Had the district moved to TD Bank, they would be, I believe, based upon his response, the earnings credits were not going to outweigh the fees that the district would be paying, and it would have put the district in a potentially negative situation.
Has the district ever used Pliget before?
We currently have accounts at Pliget. Pliget is not a bank. They're a Pennsylvania Local Government Investment Trust. They have a relationship, I believe, with PNC Bank, that they have that's kind of like their deposit end. Their recommendation, Pliget's recommendation was that the district continue to utilize what they call the local bank depository, where we put all our funds in currently, and utilize Pliget for cash management or investment opportunities, because their rates are a little bit higher than what Mock Chunk's were. Mock Chunk did offer, again, no fees. They did also, we don't currently have positive pay, but they offered positive pay in their proposal. They also offered a courier service. Right now, somebody from the office takes the daily deposits to the bank. They would provide for courier service.
Excuse me, this discussion is relatively moot, and the fact that the finance committee back in November and the board of the government made a direct order to the government, individuals, and the administration to do a job. The failure to neglect to follow the government orders. It's a hand. So I have to ask, under what moral or legal justification did you choose to ignore the direct order of your government to do a job?
Mr. Bradley, the former business administrator was directed to move the accounts. I am not discussing this with you anymore.
Patty, I have a question.
Dave, I was not here in November.
Patty, I have a question. If we had entered into this agreement with TD Bank, even though
Please, someone else has the floor. Someone else was speaking. Go ahead.
Nice touch. So, even though if we had entered into an agreement with TD Bank, even though the financial environment has changed as they described, would they have been honor bound to give us the savings that
They had nothing, they presented the district nothing in writing that would hold them accountable, would have held them accountable.
Okay. Very
to ignore a direct order from the government that was not enough to do a job. Was provided a process
Okay.
Okay, I got a question on the muck chunk trust. You said, which one has the courier muck chunk?
So what?
The courier service.
We don't currently have courier service with them, but in their proposal, they offer courier service at no fee.
And how are their rates compared to Pliget?
Pliget. They're, I haven't done a full analysis on them, but they follow LIBOR and Pliget follows other indices, so it's a little bit different, like 0.25% from like the last year average.
Well, I know Pliget's kind of a government banking system.
It is, they're two different, my recommendation would be that if the board so chooses, at our October Finance Committee, we have both of them come in and do a presentation.
The muck chunk trust is a local bank, but they're a government is Pliget, so it's.
Well, Pliget's not a bank.
It's not.
It's not a bank, it's an investment trust, and in their proposal, they touch on that. In a presentation, they could answer those questions.
I think a fair thing to do, as you suggested, was to bring them in October.
Yeah.
Let's hear the presentation, services they're proposing to offer. Rita?
Yeah, I agree.
Rich? Okay. Let's move forward.
The last item on the agenda is we have Georgia's transportation bill.
I apologize, but the sound system is not apparently plugged in, so I hear it as a slight, maybe an echo. So I'm gonna ask Chris specifically, did somebody give a moral or legal justification for ignoring a direct order provided by the government to the individual on the board and to the individual on the administration to do a job?
Thank you, Dave.
Was a moral or legal justification entered as to why this direct order from the board was ignored?
No, Dave.
Okay, thank you.
The last item on the agenda is the Georgia's transportation bill. They did transportation for 4 days for the start of the school year, and the balance due is $24,744.32.
Is there anything irregular about the bill?
No, same standard runs, same locations.
Move that forward. Rita?
Yeah, fine with me.
Yep.
Okay.
I would like to know why, I have heard a rumor that we have not paid the VOTAC in 3 months.
That is an unfortunate rumor. I wish the VOTEC would have reached out because I could have addressed the situation. There is one on the board agenda for September 30th, and there is one, we just received one for October that will be on the agenda for October. There was a check that should have been mailed, and it was not. That check has been mailed today.
Yeah, what we have is, as of today, June, July, and August have not been paid. That's what we have as of today.
Well,
I
we
did
have
contact
one on
Mr.
the-
Cleaver
we have
and
one on the agenda for September 30th,
for
and then another.
October.
And I would just ask that from a professional to professional, if you guys have questions, you reach out so we can.
I did, I reached out to the superintendent in August.
I would ask that you reach out to me.
Okay, he told
I
us,
didn't-
he told
I
us
didn't
in
get that
August, he told us he'd look into it. So I waited
I
until
would prefer
September.
that you copy both of
I
us on
understand,
that.
but I'm not, then we waited until September, after September 5th, we didn't get it. And I contacted him again the following day, and we talked about it at our board meeting on Thursday.
I would just ask that you keep me in the loop.
I don't know that you weren't, I mean, I don't know, but the bills.
I'm telling you it wasn't, so I'm asking
The
that
bills come to you though?
if you could copy,
But the bills come to you?
I don't process the bills, they go through our accounts payable department.
Okay.
So if you could just copy me on your concerns, that would be helpful.
Well, that would be my question, how can we avoid that in the future, because, I mean, we're basically waiting on $628,000, so it's a lot.
We'll look into that.
Anything further in discussion? Rita? Rich? Okay.
I have a question. Do we normally pay you once a month?
Yeah, it's usually, well, it's not usually 2 by 5th. each month.
Was there?
With the cash flow concerns of the school district, there has been some bills that we've been slower to pay. That's from a cash flow perspective to ensure that we have money to pay, make payroll, make our PSERS payments, make all of our payments.
So certain bills have been singled out to delay the payment to protect the
There,
cash flow?
there was one that was held until our real estate tax collections were coming in strong.
Mhm.
We have to make sure, because the subsidy cycle hasn't started yet, we have to make sure that we're prepared to meet payroll and those other obligations.
Are there any other bills that we have not paid to
I don't believe so.
protect the cash flow?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Is there any other bills, checks that haven't been mailed?
I don't believe so.
So we're waiting on taxes as the first.
Yes, and they're coming in, they're coming in, the tax collectors are coming in on a weekly basis.
Which is a month later than.
And- Correct.
They're
And the
much later
subsidy,
than we should have been.
PDE subsidies have restarted, so
So what checks will
I
we
don't have
get
those numbers in front of me. I will reach out tomorrow and let you know.
for the particular months?
Yes.
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
I have a question first.
Go ahead.
I've been going through some of the information on the website, and the ending fund balance for the 2018-2019 school year estimated was to be $4,345,265. I also looked at the last received budget summary that was attached for the board, and it shows that we spent $43,107,302 with a shortfall of $2,412,842. However, the estimated beginning fund balance for 2019-2020 that was filed with PDE was $4,252,631, and the difference there is only less than $93,000.
The difference is when you're putting those estimates in, the estimates are pulled from an AFR, they're pulled from an audit report. They constantly are changing. The numbers that you see on the board reports that are issued are exactly where the district is. There's a small window by which you can put your budget numbers in. The state does not let you go back in and change them, just for those supplementary schedules.
Okay.
We can certainly.
So
once the audit is
basically, the
finished-
budget report you file is not going to have correct info.
On the estimated fund balance numbers have not been updated. We did not know when we had to file the budget exactly how much we were gonna be overspent by. So until we're still putting things into 18-19.
Okay.
Typically, it's when you get your audit done, that's your fund balance number.
Okay, so then basically you find out before December.
Correct.
Doesn't it have to, the audit has to be filed by December something, if I remember correctly?
For different reporting levels.
Okay.
I have one question for the finance committee when they get a chance.
Go ahead.
What is the finance committee, which is Andrew Yenser, Rita Spinelli, and Richard Phelps' opinion of having these negotiations for nearly half of our budget being done by individuals that don't really have their skin in the game, that the stakeholders, taxpayers, and the board members do? And they're negotiating against three individuals on the union side, which would be Powell and Corey, Hartsel, Mike Bush, and Dan Williams, without anyone in that room protecting the best interest of the stakeholders. So I'd like you guys to discuss and deliberate why you feel that is a moral or legal action. Thank you.
I see that as outside the finance
And
committee.
possibly recommend correcting it. Because I feel it's immoral.
Again, I don't think that's a finance committee discussion
No.
as far as negotiations. So,
I don't know what to say about that. Just bring up the board meetings and
Yeah.
Mhm.
that's. Okay. It's bring it to the board meeting, Dave. That's outside of Finance Committee.
You're financially consuming over half of your revenue without the oversight of the board. You're abdicating that authority and then get a rubber stamp because you don't even have a person in the room collecting notes or reviewing the information. That's what I'm saying. Are you going to go down that immoral path still? Or are you going to recommend that the board change this?
Got no comment.
No comment.
Hey Dave, we could recommend at the next board meeting that that practice stops. If you'd like to bring that up, I'll vote yes for that. I don't like to see that happen either, but at this point, we can't do much right now. Bring it up at the board meeting.